YouTube star Jake Paul earned the biggest victory of his boxing career last night, and now he's set his sights on another MMA name. The Problem Child only needed one round to dispatch the former one and Bellator welterweight champion courtesy of Paul's right hand, and the fight was subsequently called off by the referee, granting Paul the win via TKO at 1 minute 59 seconds. The next day, Paul took to social media and made a bold prediction regarding a boxing bout with UFC superstar Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz gets KO'd in 3, Paul wrote. In an interview with Heavy Kelsey McCarson's in January, the Problem Child revealed that his team had been talking to Diaz's team about a boxing contest. Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz is going to happen, Paul told McCarson. We're talking to Diaz's team, he wants to do it as well. He has 2 more fights with the UFC apparently, Paul continued, so we'll see what happens if he frees up from the UFC. That's the fight. Diaz is currently scheduled to fight number 3 ranked welterweight contender Leon Edwards in a 5-round co-main event at UFC 262 on May 15th. An interesting development during the build-up to the fight was that famed boxing coach Freddie Roach was. I think one thing he has to understand is that he's fighting Ben Askren. That's a different type of boxing match than he's probably going to be used to. So he better bring some goofy, unorthodox wrestlers to spar with, because sometimes those are the harder fights just because they're unorthodox and you don't know what to expect coming from a boxing point of view. I would expect Ben Askren will win, but it could be tough. It could be easy. Who knows? That's what makes it kind of interesting. With the contest just over a week, Paul has warned Askren's wife and kids not to watch the fight because he plans to leave their father bloodied and unconscious on the canvas. In a video message to the former UFC contender, the YouTube star said, "You think this is a fucking game? You think this is a fun payday? You think this is a way to get clout, and you might be right. I promise April 17th will be the worst day of your fucking life. Just as I asked Nate Robinson's kids not to watch the fight, I will ask your kids to not do the same." Jake Paul has claimed that he will knock out Nate Diaz in 3 rounds in a potential fight. The Problem Child and the Stockholm Slugger have engaged in a verbal back and forth with each other in the past. Jake Paul has previously called out several notable MMA fighters, including Nate Diaz. Not one to be outdone, Diaz fired back at Paul. On that note, Jake Paul now seems to have reignited his feud with Nate Diaz. In the aftermath of his big win over Ben Askren, Paul took to Twitter and claimed that he KO'd Diaz within 3 rounds if they were to ever fight one another. The consensus is that Paul has called out Diaz to face him in a pro boxing bout, not an MMA bout. Internet personality, actor, rapper, and social media influencer Jake Paul has been training in the art of boxing over the past few years. Paul went from competing in a white-collar boxing bout against fellow YouTuber Deji to eventually making the transition to the sport of professional boxing. Since his professional boxing debut in January 2020, Jake Paul has racked up 3 wins, all by way of KO or TKO. Paul has faced increasingly tougher opposition in his young career thus far, although none have been against professional boxers. That's all the time we have for today's video, guys. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.